we don't have an individual slide for the other races on the card, but if you see behind us here, we've got the current prices for the Mayor's Hurdle. 8 to 11 Benie Des Dieux, 6 to 4 Honeysuckle, 7 to 1 Stormy Ireland, 8 to 1 Roxana. This could potentially be the clash of the festival in the Mayor's Hurdle. And Diarmuid, I know you're the founding member of the Honeysuckle fan club. Just tell everybody here why you love her so much and why you think she would beat Benie Des Dieux.
Benie Des Dieux is a serious mare, and I'm not taking a single ounce away from her. She's obviously absolutely class. I just think that we suffer a lot in horse racing, as Donn alluded to there a while ago, recency bias. So she put up a serious performance at Gowran Park. In my opinion, there's no fundamental difference to what Honeysuckle did to the other two, to the nearly the exact same horses at Fairyhouse. Honeysuckle absolutely hammered them. She then turned up over 2 miles, which is probably a bit short of her optimum. But again, she was learning her way through that. She's still a very young mare. And for her to win, now Darva Star probably might have got up, but I thought she was just a bit lonely in front more than anything. And her form stacks up with Benny's. Now, Benie could go and beat her in the day. Benie is priced to do so. But I think Honeysuckle doesn't get the respect that she deserves. She would have won that Mayor's Novice doing handstands last year. She proved that afterwards when she absolutely slammed Eglantine de Sai at Fairyhouse. She's stepped out of that division this year, and she's just gone from strength to strength. She's won everything all around her. And that performance at Fairyhouse is every which way as good as what Benie Des Dieux did at Gowran Park. And I think they should be priced a bit closer than they are.
You think they should almost be flipped the other way around? Do you think Honeysuckle should be favoured?
No, I think based on the fact that Benie is the defending champion that she should, but I just think that it should be a lot closer.
Mikey, how good is Benie Des Dieux?
Brilliant. Best. One of the best horses in training, I'd say. I wouldn't fancy her. Look, I'm not going to give you one. I just be sure about one decision if I had to make. If I was to ride anything in the game, I would no way would I ride Honeysuckle against Benie Des Dieux. I think she'll just win. And I loved her run in Gowran over 3 mile on heavy ground, first run. To do that, first run in Willys, and then she has a run this year. She was a little bit fresh last year. Going into it, she ran a bit fresh and keen and jumped a bit big, and she paid the price for it. But maybe I'm being biased. I just look at the mare of Honeysuckle, bet Darva Star by half a length. Wanted the line.
Do you think Darva Star win a champion hurdle?
No, but this. I'm saying each way squeak. I feel that Benie Des Dieux would win the champion hurdle as well. Yeah. Wasn't really that impressed with Honeysuckle in Epsom, to be honest. I didn't like Petit Mouchoir, Darva Star, all out, battered. I didn't see her staying that well. Like, obviously, Dermot's right, savage form last year, but regards, if I was Henry and Mr. Alexander, I'd be going to the champion hurdle. Really.
And swerving Benie Des Dieux?
I'd swerve her with anything. Or maybe Envy Allen. That'd be, it's the only one.
David, have you ever sat on Benie Des Dieux?
Yeah, 1-2 on her. Over fences. She's an absolute aeroplane. What she done in Gowran, first run back. Willies all blew up at Christmas. They all blew out at Christmas. They ran, I'd say, 2 stone below themselves at Christmas, some of them. And for her to do that on bottomless ground in Gowran over 3 mile, Willie's only improve at runs. Honeysuckle, she was gunned for the first day, not the first day, the second day. You don't bounce out your good mare in November and send her from the front and send her 10 clear, jumping the second last in Fairyhouse, and expect to have a mare left at the end of the season. She'd be an iron horse if she stays winning.
She's a great mind though, Honeysuckle, I think.
She'd want it.
Yeah, that's the only thing that will help her. I'd be with you. I'd be shocked.
Is Benie Des Dieux the most talented horse in Willie's yard?
No, fine.
Is she the best winner for the week? Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
She's the best. If that gets bet, obviously everything gets bet, but we'd be shocked.
Shocked, yeah. The whole yard would be shocked.
I don't know. I never know one rides Ronnie Dick, and obviously maybe the lads, but she goes around there like a fairy oak.
Yeah. Don, if Honeysuckle and Benie Des Dieux show up here, let's say softish ground, who wins?
I think Honeysuckle has a better chance of winning the champion hurdle than she does of winning the Mayor's Hurdle. It's not that I don't think she'll win the Mayor's Hurdle. I think she'll have an easier task in a champion hurdle than the Mares Hurdle against Benie Des Dieux. I take the lad's point about her run the last day at Leopardstown, but I think she went and won a race going to the last, and whatever happened, like she just seemed to wander, lose concentration going to the last, and she landed it over as if she'd finished her race, and then she had to get going again. I think maybe ridden a bit more patiently might suit her a bit better, and that'll be easier behind a faster pace and a better race. I don't know. I like Benie Des Dieux. What she did at Goran was phenomenal over 3 miles. And it was as much what Willie Mullins and Paul Townend, their reactions afterwards. Like they
Unbelievable.
just,
I've never seen Willie or Paul
They just loved
after a race be so positive. Like it was almost as if they were shocked at how
away,
good she was. Yeah.
And she's won a French champion hurdle over 3.25 miles, 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs. So, you know, she might even be better over 3 miles. Be fascinating. You'd want to see her against Paisley Park getting £7. I know we'll come on to that, but that's the race I'd love to see.
But from listening to you, you're just leaning towards Benie Des Dieux ahead of Honeysuckle.
Yeah, I think the bet is probably right. You know, I think Benie Des Dieux a little bit ahead of Honeysuckle. I think that's probably about right, yeah.
Okay, Dean, are you Benie Des Dieux or Honeysuckle?
I think Don sums it up perfectly. Like Honeysuckle's going to actually improve for that spin over 2 miles. All right, just falling over the line perhaps in a race that isn't her optimum, but her jumping improved as the race went. About the last, maybe where she gets a bit lonely, but she could be as good as Benie Des Dieux. She's not yet, so the betting is spot on. But if she runs against Benie, I'll be hoping Honeysuckle wins without probably getting involved with a wager because it's that tight. If she goes for a champion hurdle, I think that's the right call. And as Don says, I would put Benie in the stayers because something should have a crack at Paisley Park. And if they decide for the mares, well, they go for the penalty kick. That's up to them. But it's the same check to cash finishing second to Paisley as it is to win this. And this is a nothing race. This is, with the 2 horses in there at the top of it, it's better than the champion hurdle, but it shouldn't be. It's the mare's hurdle, so why not go for the bigger targets?
Okay, let's bring the crowd in here, okay? Honeysuckle v Benie Des Dieux, mare's hurdle, ground suitable for both of them. Hands up who would back Benie Des Dieux. Okay. And hands up who would back Honeysuckle. No, you can't back both of them. Okay, so it's pretty strong in Benie Des Dieux's favour, and she is currently your 8-11 favourite.
Does everyone hope that? I hope they run against each other.
So do I.
I hope that. That would be my race of the nearly the week to see the 2 of them going at it.
Because usually, like when the champion hurdle is over, day one is kind of it limps out. Like, but if you've got that race after the champion hurdle, it's going to be a cracker.
I'd prefer to see Benie Des Dieux against Paisley Park.
Me too.
That'll be a race.
Me too.
Getting £7.
I don't know, just the 2 mares, 2 big different parties. I agree, it'd be another great race, but I just really want to see Honeysuckle run against Benie Des Dieux.
Yeah, me too.
2-1 Honeysuckle for the next 5 minutes or so.
So 2-1 Honeysuckle with BetVictor for the mare's hurdle, pushed out from 6-4. The other 2 races on day 1, the Northern Trust Novice Handicap Chase and the National Hunt Chase. Don, this time last year you sat on the panel here, and one of your strongest fancies of the week was Champagne Classic for the National Hunt Chase. Unfortunately, he was ruled out of the race a couple of days later, and it's happened again.
I know.
Champagne Classic out of the National Hunt Chase. Does that mean it's a penalty kick for carefully selected?
Yeah, he'll want to be better than he was at Nace now. He'll want to jump better. I know that was only 2 weeks after his previous run, and he had to run in it because he had to qualify, he had to finish in the first 4, and it nearly went all wrong at the 3rd last fence. But he's in it, and this was his only entry. Like Patrick Mullins must have done the entries this day because he didn't put him in the RSA Chase. Yeah. He left him in the National Hunt Chase alone. If Copperhead runs in that, he'll give him a race, I'd say, because he was very good the last day in the Reynolds-town, and step up to 3 miles 6 now, not 4 miles. That'll probably see him improve again, but he could go in the RSA Chase instead. So yeah, that would be a good race between those 2.
Diarmuid, the Novice Handicap Chase or National Hunt Chase, what would your selections be in those?
The National Hunt Chase, I'm kind of happy to leave it now for the time being. I'll be taking on Carefully Selected, but I have no idea with who yet. I don't like the way Carefully Selected jumps the fence at all. No doubt the engine's there, it's huge. Beating Captain CJ after the mistakes that he made shows that there's a serious horse there. But you'd just be terrified of him finishing the race. I think at 9-4 particularly, you'd want to be very, very brave. In the Novice Handicap Chase, there's an awful lot of these that haven't been at a whole pile all year, and Beakstown is one of them. He's been running in some very good races behind Champ and Mr. Fisher, etc. And he hasn't been off a yard all year, so he'd be very interesting here at 12-1 if they gear him up a bit towards actually winning a race.
Whoa, Interesting. Dean,
Yeah.
your two selections in the National Chase and the Novice Handicap Chase?
If anyone's going to back either of the top two in the National Hunt Chase, Copperhead is the bet for me. Really impressed with that the last day. Definitely in an RSA picture. If they decide to go for this, it looks ideal. Carefully selected, you're taking it.
Who'd
really
ride him
hope-
if he ran in it?
Sorry?
Who'd ride Copperhead if he ran in it?
Apparently Jamie Codd and Derek O'Connor have been ringing them. Is what
Yeah,
they were saying.
we're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, obviously, you want one of
Either
those
of them's
lads
not
on.
bad.
What?
Obviously, you want one of those lads
Oh,
on.
that'd be a
like,
big
yeah.
part of the bet.
Yeah. So Copperhead, if the race was right now, I'd back Copperhead at 7-2. There is a horse in there. I don't know if it'll run Evan Williams' Prime Venture, who amazingly is still a novice. I don't know how that's even
Ran the
possible.
Welsh National?
Yeah, finished fourth in that. You'd imagine it would really appreciate this race. I don't know if they're going to go. I think it's entered at the weekend. He's 66-1 non-run and no bet with these lads here. So I think there's worse bets around. If he doesn't run, you're all good anyway. In the Novice Handicap Chase, Galvin I thought was pretty obvious. I think he's 5 wins from 10. Looks like they've got him exactly where they want him. He looks a very strong. I think he'd go a favourite over Imperial Aura, to be honest. And 7-1 is there now. Probably would be about that on the day.
Lads, anything in the other two races, the Novice Handicap Chase or the National Hunt Chase, Mikey?
I've no opinion on the Novice Handicap Chase, and I'd be agreeing with Dean. Copperhead there. Yeah, carefully selected, but sure, he didn't jump well enough around Nace to fancy him at that price. Yeah. And Colin Tizard, real good trainer of a staying novice tracer, be very fit. Trains on Wexford sand, ground is soft. Like, I'd love that. Not just the Wexford, but that's what he gets horses as fit as anybody, if not fitter. That's why they bomb out the odd time. Like I said, lost in translation. Maybe just needed a bit of a break. And the Copperhead there with the Codhead or Derek or Barry O'Neill would do me on that.
Lovely. Copperhead at the moment 4-1 with BetVictor for the National Hunt Chase. David, do you like having either of those two races?
Carefully selected, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, you think carefully selected. I know his jumping was poor the last day, but it was only a fortnight after his previous race.
Yeah, I'd forgive him for it. He's a novice. He's a big, slow, stupid novice, and that's what the form is there for.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick is quite keen on him, isn't he?
Yeah, I was actually riding him out the other morning, and I nearly got a kick off a little rat of a filly, and jeez, Patrick nearly started crying. So, you were there for that as well, weren't you?
Yes.
He's riding Philly.
I got the bollock and I was riding the horse. Wasn't nice.
Blame something else. Just blame the other rider.
So there you go. That's David Fancy's carefully selected. So to finish up day one, we want your best bet on day one. And I'm going to kick off. I fancy Hold a Note in the Northern Trust Novice Handicap Chase. It is currently 9-1 with BetVictor, trained by Mick Shannon. He's rated 145, so he's definitely going to run here. And I think he is a better horse than his mark suggests. So Hold a Note for me. Dean, your best bet on day one?
Yeah, Fiddler on the Roof in the first.
Sam?
Beatstown each way, actually. We've seen some pretty shrewd money for that, and Connections look very satisfied after the last 2 runs.
Okay, excellent. So that's Beakstown, who Diarmuid give a good shout out to. Diarmuid, your best bet on day one?
One race we didn't cover there was actually the Ultima, where we actually missed it there from our notes. But the Discorama is interesting in that of 149 breeding operation now since that kind of poor run at Limerick at Christmas. But that ground at Limerick was brutal at Christmas, so I kind of forgive any horse that didn't quite run in it. So Discorama off that weight, about 16-1 would be my idea, the best bet on day one.
Brian Cooper likely to ride. David, your best bet on day one?
Elfield each way in the mare's hurdle.
Wow, Elfield.
Yeah,
Okay.
each way anyway.
Excellent. Mikey,
Yeah, actually, I'd go with your one. Yeah.
Hold a Note.
Yeah, because I remember you coming up with one like that last year and actually ran well.
What do you mean actually?
Didn't even win.
Actually ran well.
Yeah, I think it was placed at a big price, and to come out with one like that I'd never even heard of it. You have to have your homework done, so I just go with you. Hold it up, Mick Shannon.
It is my job.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So
I'm
a
thinking-
ringing endorsement for Hold a Note
Yeah.
in the Northern
Mick Shannon,
Trust.
good trainer.
Yeah, good trainer. Yeah, dual purpose trainer. Don, your best bet on day one?
Galvin against Hold a Note in the
Good shout.
Northern Trust Company Novices Handicap Chase.
You think he's well handicapped?
He's 142. He ran a blind in the Ballymore last year. He just made a mistake at the third last and stayed on. He nearly beat Sam's profile for 5th in the Ballymore. He's rated 142 now. His run the last day against Salceretta was very good. He made a mistake at the second last. He stayed on while the Whisper in the Breeze. Yeah, and then they left him. He got his mark. Said we'll leave him there now, I'd say, and keep him below 145, which is the ceiling for the race. He'll be getting £3 from Hold the Note. Yeah, I think
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is Galvin for Donn McClean, his best bet on day one.